BRB real quick. And I will be back shortly. Let's do starting soon. That's the one we're gonna pick. So, any noise is my dog. She's getting ready to come in. So, let's see. Where is the chat box? There it is. Okay, why is this? I'm going to dismiss it. I don't need it. Oh, I see that now. I got it. Okay. Oh, I will be back. I'm going to go get my poochie poo and bring her in and find something to cover up my coffee after I heat it up. Be back. I have a tattoo on my arm, my shoulder, of my picture, and one to give to the girl. Phoebe. And then we'll put Harley out. I gotta take the lead off, Dum Dum. Hey! You know why I call you Dum Dum? Because you act like a Dum Dum. I extended the lead out there so you can start going and then turn around a little bit. I know. Down! Yeah, I know. Down! Where's the last German raid? Look at you! Running around like a crazy girl. You're running around like a crazy girl. Yes, you are. Still just me. Still wait and see. Anybody else comes in. Come here. No, not that. You don't need the bowl. I have to go back upstairs. Come here. Up. Hi. Hi. You want to come here. Come here. I'll let you have a treat if you come here. Come here. I'm try to give you treats. While I put medicine on your back. Come here. Yes, I'm putting it on your back. Stop. Another treat. Stop trying to lick it. There, that's a treat. Look, see? Get over here. Stop that. Daddy fixed it. Now you don't have any problems. Come here. Stop trying to lick it. Come here. Phoebe, stop trying to lick it. It's gonna heal gradually. Come here. Do you want the treats or not? There you go. Where's your wood? It's like block of wood. This is Phoebe. Phoebe is now 2.5. Huh. Hi. You have a good walk? Ah, shit. Can I have my coffee? I know. I just want you to bring it to the step. It's on the counter. The pink white one. Hold on. I don't care. Blends or not. You can take all day. Finish. Yeah. Where at? Yeah. Near that start, as you're walking to the right. Wow, really? Wow. Great. Did you say doggy doo-doo trail? Wow. Wow. It's actually kind of funny. All right. Whether anybody watches or not, we are going to read today. All right. So I did an experimental stream earlier, so I'm going to repeat myself from what I said earlier because I deleted that stream. So as you'll know, I kind of disappeared in February, and it's because what I did is we were moving. And so I had to pack everything up. Books, equipment, everything but my laptop. There's no way I can do my live streams if it's packed up. So I stopped in February after the sun dog. And I've been reading since. I've actually read quite a few stories. And I have Book Maury, which keeps track of everything that I read. Book count there. Okay. So if I go back to February, let's see. After the Sun Dog, I read Midnight Sun, which is not bad actually. And then I didn't read anything in April. And then I read I Am Legend. I have one story left in that book, so it took me a couple months. And then in August I read Prey by Michael Crichton. And then I read Bentley Little's The Association. That one's a good one. Creepy, but good. And then I actually read, what is this one? I don't know what this is. I don't even know why I have a commercial either. This is weird. Like seriously. Weird. For the first time on Book Maury, I got a commercial. I got an ad for paint by number. I just gotta wait for it to stop so I can see what I'm looking at here. Because for some reason, there was a book, but it's not saying what it is, and I want to know what it is. So, what is this? Here, there, be tired. I actually read that one. We are actually going to read that one. And I just read it a couple weeks ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to read out of Skeleton Crew. And I already read The Mist. It is on stream. It's saved. And then I read Here There Be Tigers, which is a small one. And then I read The Monkey. I also read I'll have to find it in Book Maury. I think I have it in there. But I also read The Girl Who Liked Tom Gordon. I don't know why it's not here, but I know I read it. So, go back to my calendar. There it is. I read it between August 21st and the 1st of September. So I might read that one too, but yeah, the Skeleton Crew is quite the book. Got quite a few stories in it. The Mist, Here There Be Tigers, The Monkey, Cane, Rosa, Mr. Todd's Shortcut, The Jaunt, The Wedding Date, Paranoid, A Chant, The Rift. word processor of the gods, the man who would not shake hands, beach world, the Reaper's image, Nona for Owen, survivor type, Uncle Otto's truck, morning deliveries, man number 1, big wheels, the tail of the laundry, milkman number 2, grandma, and the ballad of the flexible bullet and the breach. So we are probably going to go through all of these and read every single one of them until we're done. But Stephen King's like my favorite. So the master of his sacrifice. The master at his scarifying best, I can't read. From heart-pounding terror to the eeriest of whimsy. Tales from the outer limits of one of the greatest imaginations of our time. Evil that breathes and walks and shrieks, brave new worlds and horror shows, human desperation, bursting into deadly menace. Such are the themes of these astounding works of fiction. In the tradition of Poe and Stevenson, of Lovecraft and the Twilight Zone, Stephen King has fused images of fear as old as time with the iconography of contemporary American life to create his own special brand of horror. One that has kept millions of readers turning the pages even as they gasp. In the book-length story The Mist, a supermarket becomes the last bastion of humanity. A peril beyond dimension invades the earth. Literally. With word processor of the gods. Now, the Mist. I do have to say that the book ending is different from the movie ending, and the movie ending was approved by Stephen King, but it's really heart-wrenching at the end of the movie. With word processor of the gods, you can make your dreams come true along with your nightmares. Touch the man who would not shake hands and say your prayers. There are some things in attics which are better left alone. Things like the monkey, which is what we're starting with. The most sublime woman driver on earth offers a man Mr. Todd's shortcut to paradise. A boy's sanity is pushed to the edge when he's left alone with the odious corpse of Grandma. And if you are stunned by gremlins, the coordinates of the bandits of the flexible bullet will knock your socks off. Trucks that punish and beautiful teen demons who seduce a young man to massacre. Curses whose malevolence grows obscene presences and angels of fear indeed is the night blooming bouquet kills and thrills. So like I said, we already did The Mist. So real quick, I'm actually going to read you Here There Be Tigers. I read it and I was just like, how does it end? The ending is what got me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it go. Okay. So I'll write it in here. Here there be tigers by Stephen King. That's our first book. Charles needed to go to the bathroom very quickly. There was no longer any use in trying to fool himself. He could wait for recess. His bladder was screaming at him, and Miss Bird had caught him squirming. There were three third-grade teachers in the Acorn Street Grammar School. Miss Kinney was young and blonde and bouncy, and had a boyfriend who picked her up after school in a blue Camaro. Mrs. Trask was shaped like a Moorish pillow, and did her hair in braids, and laughed boomingly. And there was Miss Bird. Charles had known he would end up with Miss Bird. He had known that. It had been inevitable, because Miss Bird obviously wanted to destroy him. She did not allow children to go to the basement. The basement, Miss Bird said, was where the boilers were kept, and well-groomed ladies and gentlemen would never go down there. Because basements were nasty, sooty old things. Young ladies and gentlemen do not go to the basement, she said. They go to the bathroom. Charles squirmed again. Miss Bird coughed and eyed at him. Charles, she said clearly, still pointing the pointer at Olivia. Do need to go to the bathroom. Kathy Scott in her seat ahead of him get wisely. No. Come here. I'm reading. Phoebe. Young lady. No. I am reading and you are being rude. Come here. Come here. Phoebe. Come here. I am reading. Come on. Up. Come here. Are you gonna come up here? No. Yeah, there you are. There you are, my precious. She might be a little calmer. Megan, kick in. We're trying something for her. You ready? All right. We'll keep reading. I'll catch you while we read. Kenny Griffin niggered and kicked Charles under his desk. Charles went bright red. Speak up, Charles, Miss Bird said brightly. Do you need to urinate? She'll say urinate. She always does. Yes, Miss Bird. Yes. What? I have to go to the bathroom. Miss Bird smiled. Very well, Charles. You may go to the bathroom and urinate. Is that what you need to do? Urinate. Teachers. Charles hung his head, convicted. Very well, Charles. You may do so. And next time, kindly don't wait to be asked. General giggles. Mrs. Bird rapped the board with her pointer. Charles trudged up the road toward the door, 30 pairs of eyes boring into his back. And every one of those kids, including Kathy Scott, knew that he was going to the bathroom to urinate. The door was at least a football field's length away. The imagination of children. Miss Bird did not go on with the lesson, but kept her silence until he had opened the door, entered the blessedly, shut the door again. He walked down toward the basement. If I want, dragging his fingers along the cool tile of the wall, letting them bounce over the thumbtack bulletin board, and slid lightly across the red break glass in case of emergency fire alarm box. Miss Bird liked it. Miss Bird liked making him have a red face in front of Kathy Scott, who never needed to go to the basement. Was that fair? And everybody else? Oh, bitch, he thought. He spelled because he had decided that last year that God didn't say it was a sin if you spelled. He went to the boys' bathroom. It was very cool inside, with a faint, not unpleasant smell of chlorine hanging pungently in the air. Now, in the middle of it was clean and deserted, peaceful, quite pleasant. Not at all like smoky, stinky cubicle at the Star Theater downtown. The bathroom. Basement! These loud ones are in like a parenthesis. The bathroom basement was built like an L. The short side lined with tiny square mirrors, white porcelain wash bowls, and a paper towel dispenser. NIBROC. Nabrock. The longer side with 2 urinals and 3 toilet cubicles. Charles ran around the corner after glancing morosely at his thin, rather pallid face in one of the mirrors. The tiger was laying at the far end, just underneath the pebbly white window. It was a large tiger with tawny Venetian blinds and dark stripes laid across its pelt. It looked up alertly at Charles, and its green eyes narrowed. A kind of silky, purring grunt issued from its mouth. Smooth muscles flexed, and the tiger got to its feet. Its tail twitched, making little chinking sounds against the porcelain side of the last journal. The tiger looked very vicious. Charles hurried
back the way he had come.
The door seemed to take forever to wheeze. Pneumatically. Closed behind him. But when it did, he considered himself safe. The door only swung in. And he did not remember ever reading or hearing that tigers are smart enough to open doors. Charles wiped the back of his hand across his nose. His heart was thumping so hard he could hear it. He still needed to go to the basement. Worse than ever. He squirmed, winced, pressed a hand against his belly. He really had to go to the basement. If he could only be sure no one would come, he could use the girls. It was right across the hall. Charles looked at it longingly, knowing he'd never dare. Not in a million years. What if Kathy Scott should come? Or Black Horror, what if Miss Bird should come? Perhaps he had imagined the tiger. He opened the door wide enough for one eye and peeked in. The tiger was peeking back from around the angle of the L. Its eye a sparkling green. Charles fancied he could see a tiny blue fleck in that deep brilliance, as if the tiger's eye had eaten one of his own. As if a hand slid around his neck. Charles gave a stifled cry and felt his heart and stomach cramp up in his throat. For one terrible moment, he thought he was going to wet himself. It was Kenny Griffin. Smiling complacently. Miss Bird sent me after you because you have been gone 6 years. You're in trouble. Yeah, but I can't go to the basement, Charles said, feeling faint with the fright Kenny had given him. You're constipated, Kenny gleefully. Wait till I tell Kathy. You better not. Charles said urgently. Besides, I'm not. There's a tiger in there. What's he doing? Kenny asked. Taking a piss? I don't know. Charles said, turning his face to the wall. I just wish he'd go away. He began to weep. Hey, Kenny said, a little frightened. What if I have to go? What if I can't help it? Miss Bird will say, come on, grabbing his arm with one hand and pushing the door open with the other. You're making it up. They were inside before Charles could break free and cower back against the door. Tiger! Kenny said disgustedly. Boy, Miss Bird's gonna kill you. It's around the other side. Kenny began to walk past the wash bowls. Kitty. Don't! Charles hissed. Kenny disappeared around the corner. Kitty. Charles darted out the door again and pressed himself against the wall, waiting. His hands over his mouth and his eyes squinched shut, waiting for the scream. There was no scream. He had no idea how long he had stood there, frozen, his bladder bursting. He looked at the door to the boys' basement. It told him nothing. It was just a door. He wouldn't. But at last he went in. The wash bowls and mirrors were neat, and the faint smell of chlorine was changed. But there seemed to be a smell under it. A faint, unpleasant smell, like freshly sheared copper. With groaning, silent trepidation. He went to the corner of the L. Peeped around. The tiger was sprawled in its large paws with a long pink tongue. It looked incuriously at Charles. There was a torn piece of shirt caught in one set of claw. But his need was a white agony now, and he couldn't help it. He had to. Charles tiptoed back the white porcelain basin closest to the door. Miss Bird slammed in just as he was zipping his pants. Why, you dirty, filthy little boy, she said almost reflectively. Charles was keeping a weathered eye on the corner. I'm sorry, Miss Bird. The tiger. I'm gonna clean the sink. I'll use soap. I swear I will. Where's Kenneth? Where's Kenneth? Miss Bird asked calmly. I don't know. He didn't, really. Is he back there? No! Charles cried. Miss Bird stalked to the place where the room bent. Come here, Kenneth, right this moment. Miss Bird!
But Miss Bird was already around the corner. She meant to pounce. Charles thought Miss Bird was about to find out what pouncing was really all about. He went out the door again. He got a drink at the drinking fountain. He looked at the American flag hanging over the entrance to the gym. He looked at the bulletin board. Woodsy Owl said, "Give a hoot, Duluth." Officer Friendly said, "Never ride with strangers." Charles read everything twice. Then he went back to the classroom, walked down his row to his seat with his eyes on the floor, slid into his seat. It was a quarter to 11. He took out roads to everywhere and began to read about Bill at the rodeo. Now the question is, what happened to Kenneth and Miss Bird? That's the horror. There's no blood. There's no pieces. There's just a torn piece of shirt and two people missing. So they go all back from the basement. And the tiger has the blind. So what exactly is the tiger? And where did they go? So on we go. This one is quite the book. And it'll probably, I don't know if we'll be able to read the whole thing today. But the monkey is I'm going to tell you how many pages here. Okay. About 32 pages. So we'll see how far we get. I'm just gonna read. I started this one. I've not gotten very far. So we'll see how far we get. The Monkey by Stephen King. Let me put that in here. There we go. We're going to read The Monkey. If anybody does join us, they'll know. When Hal Shelburne saw it, when his son Dennis pulled it out of the moldering Ralston Purina carton that had been pushed far back under one attic eave, such a feeling of horror and dismay was in him that for one moment he thought he would scream. He put one fist in his mouth as if to cram it back, and then merely coughed into his fist. Neither Terry nor Dennis noticed. But Petey looked around, momentarily curious. "Hey, neat," Dennis said respectfully. It was a tone Hal rarely got from the boy any more himself. Dennis was 12. What is it? Peter asked. He glanced at his father again before his eyes were dragged to the thing his big brother had found. What is it, Daddy? "It's a monkey fart brains," Dennis said. Haven't you ever seen a monkey before? Don't call your brother fart brains, Harry said automatically, and began to examine a box of curtains. The curtains were slimy with mildew, and she dropped them quickly. Ugh. Can I have it, Daddy? Petey asked. He was 9. What do you mean? Dennis cried. I found it. Boys, please, Terry said. I'm getting a headache. Hal barely heard them. The monkey glimmered up at him from his older son's hands, grinning its old familiar grin, the same grin that had haunted his nightmares as a kid, haunted them until he had. Outside, a cold gust of wind rose. For a moment, lips with no flesh blew a long note through the old rusty gutter outside. Petey stepped closer to his father, eyes moving uneasily to the rough attic roof, for which nail heads poked. What was that, Daddy? He asked, as the whistle died to the guttural buzz. I might have to take a moment. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a moment. Give me just a second. Inside, but I have one outside barking her head off at the neighbors. I'll be right back.
All right, let's go get Mama. No, you stay. Down.
was that, Daddy? He asked us the whistle died to a guttural buzz. Just the wind, Hal said. Still looking at the monkey. Its symbols, crescents of brass rather than full circles, and the weak light of the one naked bulb were moveless, perhaps a foot apart. And he added automatically, wind can whistle, but it can't carry a tune. Then he realized that was the saying of Uncle Will's, a saying of Uncle Will's, and a goose ran over his grave. And for anybody wondering, the horror is this monkey. The horrible monkey. The note came again. The wind coming off Crystal Lake in a long, droning swoop, and then wavering in the gutter. Half a dozen small drafts puffed cold October air into Hal's face. God, this place was so much like the back closet of the house in Hartford that they might all have been transported 30 years back in time. I won't think about that. But now, of course, it was all he could think. In the back closet where I found the goddamn monkey in that same box. Just thinking. Terry had moved away to examine a wooden crate filled with knickknacks. Duck walking because the pitch of the E is so sharp. I don't like it, he said, and felt for Hal's hand. Dennis can have it if he wants. Can we go, Daddy? Worried about ghosts? Chicken guts? Dennis inquired. Dennis, you stop it, Terry said absently. She picked up a wafer-thin cup. Hello. With the Chinese pattern. Working. This is nice. This. Hal saw that Dennis had found the wind-up in the monkey's back, and the monkey. Terror flew through him on dark. Don't do that! It came out more sharply than did. And he had snatched the monkey out of Dennis's hands before he was really aware he had done it. Dennis looked around at him, startled. Terry had also glanced back over her shoulder, and Petey looked up. For a moment, they were all silent, and the wind whistled again, very low this time, like an unpleasant invitation. Found her wood. I mean, probably broken. Hal said. It used to be broken, except when it wanted not to be. Well, you didn't need to grab. You didn't have to grab. Dennis, shut up. Dennis blinked. For a moment, looked almost uneasy. Hal hadn't spoken to him so sharply in a long time. Not since he had lost his job with National Aerodyne in California 2 years before, and they had moved to Texas. Dennis decided not to push it for now. He turned back to the Ralston Purina carton and began to root through it again. But the other stuff was nothing but junk. Broken toys, bleeding springs, and stuffings. The wind was louder now. Hooting instead of whistling. The attic began to creak softly, making a noise like footsteps. Please, Daddy? Petey asked. Only loud enough for his father to hear. Only loud enough. Yeah, he said. Terry, let's go. I'm not through with I said, let's go. It was her turn to look startled. They had taken 2 adjoining rooms in a motel. By 10 that night, the boys were asleep in their room, and Terry was asleep in the adults' room. She had taken 2 Valiums on the ride back from the home place in Casco. To keep her nerves from giving her migraine. Just lately, she took a lot of Valium. It had started around the time National Aerodyne laid Hal off. For the last 2 years, he had been working for Texas Insurance. $4,000 less a year was work. He told Terry they were lucky. There were plenty of software architects drawing unemployment. She agreed. The company housing and every bit as the place Fresco, he said. She agreed. But he thought her agreement to all of it was a lie. and he was losing Dennis. He could feel the kid going, achieving a premature escape velocity so long. Dennis, bye-bye, stranger. It was nice sharing this train with you. Terry said she thought the boy was smoking reefer. She smelled it sometimes. You have to talk to him, Hal. He agreed, but so far he had not. But the boys were asleep. Terry was asleep. Hal went into the bathroom and locked the door and sat down on the closed lid of the John and looked at the monkey. He hated the way it felt. That soft, brown, nappy fur, worn bald in spots. He hated its grin. That monkey grins like a nigger. Uncle Will said once. This is why I put up the disclaimers. Everything I read strictly for the story. So it was hard for me to read that. And you'll notice anytime I have to read something that's derogatory like that, if I'm uncomfortable with it, you'll hear it in my voice. Uncle Will had said once. But it didn't grin like a nigger or like anything human. It grinned its grin was all teeth. And if you wound up the key, the lips would move, the teeth would seem to get bigger, to become vampire teeth. The lips would writhe and the cymbals would bang. Stupid monkey. Stupid clockwork monkey. Stupid. He dropped it. His hands were shaking and he dropped it. The key clinked on the bathroom tile as it struck the floor. The sound seemed very loud in the stillness. It grinned at him with its murky amber eyes, doll's eyes, filled with idiot glee. Its brass cymbals poised, as if to strike up a march for some band from hell. On the bottom, the words "Made in Hong Kong" were stamped. You can't be here. I threw you down the well when I was 9. The monkey grinned up at him. Monkey outside the night, a black cat full of motel. Hal's brother Bill, Bill's wife Colette, met up at Uncle Will's and Aunt Ida's the next day. Did it ever cross your mind that a death in the family is a really lousy way to renew the family connection? Bill asked him with a bit of a grin. He had been named for Uncle Will. Will and Bill, champions of the rodeo, Uncle Will used to say, and ruffle Bill's hair. It was one of his sayings, like the wind can whistle, but it can't carry a tune. Uncle Will had died 6 years, and Aunt Ida had lived on until a stroke had taken her previous week. Very sudden. Bill had said when he called long distance to give Hal the news. As if he could know. As if anyone could know. She had died alone. Yeah. Hal said. Thought crossed my mind. They looked at the place together. The home place where they had finished growing up. Their father, a merchant mariner, simply disappeared as if from the very face of the earth when they were young. Bill claimed to remember vaguely Hal, but no memories of Hal had known at all. Their mother had died when Bill was 10 and Hal was 8. Aunt Ida had brought them here on a Greyhound bus, which left from Hartford. And they had been raised here and gone to college from here. This had been a place they were homesick for. Bill had stayed in Maine and now had a healthy law practice in Portland. Hal saw that Petey had wandered off toward the blackberry tangles that lay on the east side of the house. And a mad jumble. Stay away from there, Petey, he called. Petey looked back questioning. Hal felt simple love for the boy rushed him. He suddenly thought of the monkey again. Why, Dad? The old well's back there someplace, Bill said. But I'll be damned if I remember just where. Your dad's right, Petey. It's a good place to stay away from. Thorns will do a job on you. Right, Hal? Right. Hal said automatically. Petey moved away, not looking back. And then started down the embankment toward the small shingle of beach where Dennis was skipping stones over the water. Hal felt something in his chest loosen a little. Bill might have forgotten where the old well was, but late that afternoon Hal went to it unerringly, shouldering his way through the brambles that tore at his old flannel jacket and hunted for his eyes. He reached it and stood there, hard, looking at the rotted warped board that covered it. After a moment's debate, he knelt. His knees fired twin pistol shots, and moved to toward aside from the bottom of that wet, rock-lined throat. A drowning face stared up at him, wide eyes, grimacing mouth. A moan escaped him. It was not loud, except in his heart. There it had been very loud. It was his own face in the dark water. Not the monkeys. For a moment he had thought it was the monkeys. He was shaking all over. I threw it down the well. Please, God, don't let me be crazy. I threw it down the well. The well had been dry the summer Johnny McCabe died. The year after Bill and Hal came to stay at Uncle Will and Aunt Ida's. Uncle Will had borrowed money from the bank to have an artesian well sunk, and the blackberry tangles had grown up around the old dug well, the dry well. Except the water had come back, like the monkey. This time the memory would not be denied. Hal sat there helplessly, letting it come, trying to go with it, to ride it like a surfer riding a monster that will crush him if he falls off board, just trying to get through so it would be gone again. He had crept out here with the monkey late that summer, and the blackberries had been out. The smell of them thick and cloying. No one came in here to pick. Although Aunt Ida would sometimes stand at the edge of the tangles and pick a cupful of berries into her apron. And here the blackberries had gone past ripe to overripe. Some of them were rotting, sweating a thick white fluid like pus. And the crickets sang maddeningly in the high grass underfoot, their endless cry. The thorns tore at him, brought dots of blood into his cheeks and bare arms. He made no effort to avoid their sting. He had been blind with terror, so blind that he had come within inches of stumbling onto the rotten boards that covered the well, perhaps within inches of fresh 30 feet to the well's muddy bottom. He had pinwheeled his arms for balance, and more thorns had branded his forearms. It was that memory that had caused him to call Pete sharply. That was the day Johnny McCabe died, his best friend. Johnny had been climbing the rungs up to his treehouse in his backyard. The two of them had spent many hours up there that summer, playing pirate, seeing make-believe galleons out on the lake, unlimbering the canyons, reaping the stunzel, whatever that was, preparing to board. Johnny had been climbing up to the treehouse as he had done 1,000 times before, and the rung just below the trap door at the bottom of the treehouse had snapped off in his hands, and Johnny had fallen 30 feet to the ground and had broken his neck. It was the monkey's fault. The goddamn hateful monkey. When the phone rang, Aunt Ida's mouth dropped open and then formed an O of horror as her friend Millie came down the road. From down the road told her the news. When Aunt Ida said, "Come out in the porch, Hal. I have to tell you some bad news." He had thought with sick horror, the monkey, what's the monkey done now? There had been no reflection of his face trapped at the bottom of the well that day. He threw the monkey down. Only stone cobbles and the stink of wet mud. He had looked at the monkey lying there on the wiry grass that grew between the blackberry brambles. Blackberry tangles. Its cymbals poised, its grinning teeth between its flaying fur rubbed and balding, mangy patches here and there. Its glazed eyes. I hate you, he hissed at it. He wrapped his hand around its loathsome body, feeling the nappy fur crinkle. It grinned at him as he held it up in front of his face. Go on, he dared it. Go on, he dared it. Beginning to cry for the first time. He shook it. The poised symbol trembled minute. The monkey spoiled everything good. Go on, clap them. The monkey only grinned. Go on, clap them. His voice rose hysterically. Fraidy cat, go on and clap them. I dare you. Its brownish yellow eyes. Huge, gleeful teeth. He threw it down the well then, mad with grief and terror. He saw it turn over once on the way down. A simian acrobat doing a trick. And the sun glinted one last time on those symbols. It struck the bottom with a thud. And that must have jogged its clockwork. For suddenly the symbols did begin to beat. Their steady, deliberate, and tiny banging rose to his ears, echoing and fey in the stone throat of the deep well. Jang, 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 jang. Hal clapped his hands over his mouth. For a moment he could see down there, perhaps only in the eye of imagination, lying there in the mud, eyes glaring up, a small circle of his boy's face, peering over the lip of the well, as if marking the face forever, lips expanding and contracting around those grinning teeth, cymbals clapping. Funny, wind-up monkey. Jang, 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 who's dead? Jang, 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 Johnny McCab, falling with his eyes, doing his own somersault as he falls through the summer vacation air returned from, still held in his hands to ground with a single bitter sound, with blood flying out of his nose and mouth and wide eyes. Is it Johnny? Hal? Or is it you? Moaning, Hal shoved the boards across the hole, getting splinters in his hands, not even aware of them until later. But still, he could hear it. Even though the board, muffled somehow, all the worse for that. It was down there in stone-faced dark, clapping its cymbals and jerking its repulsive body. The sound coming up like sounds heard in a dream. Jang, 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 jang. Who's dead this time? He fought and battered his way back through the blackberry creepers. Thorns stitched fresh lines of welling blood briskly across his face. And burdocks caught in the cuffs of his jeans. And he fell full length once, his ears still jangling, as if it had followed him. Uncle Will felt him later, sitting old tired in the garage and sobbing. And he thought Hal was crying friend. So he had been. And he had also cried in the aftermath of terror. He had thrown the monkey down the well in the afternoon. That evening, twilight crept in through the shimmering mantle. Ground fog. The car moving fast for the reduced visibility had run down Aunt Manx cat in the road and gone right on. There had been guts everywhere. Bill had thrown up. Hal had only turned his face away, his pale, still face, hearing Aunt Ida's sobs. This was on top of the news about the McCabe boy had caused a fit of weeping that was almost hysterics. And it was almost 2 hours before Uncle Will could calm completely, as if from miles away. In his heart there was a cold and exultant joy. It hadn't been his turn. It had been Aunt Ida's Manx, not him, not his brother Bill, or his Uncle Will. Just two champions of the rodeo. And now the monkey was gone. It was down the well. And one scruffy Manx cat with ear mites is not too great a price to pay. If the monkey wanted to clap its hellish cymbals now, let it. They clap and clash them for the crawling bugs and beetles, the dark things that made their home in the well's stone gullet. It would rot down there. loathsome cogs and wheels and springs would rust down there. It would die down there in the mud and the darkness. Spiders it would spin in a shroud. But it had come back. Slowly, Hal covered the well again. And as he had that day, and in the years, in his ears, he heard the phantom echo of the monkey cymbals. Jang, 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 jang. Who's dead, Hal? Is it Terry? Dennis? Is it Petey? Hal? He's your favorite, isn't he? Is it him? Jang, 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 jang. Put that down! Petey flinched and dropped the monkey, and for one nightmare moment, Hal thought that would do it. That the jolt would jog the machinery, and the cymbals would begin to beat and clash. Daddy, you scared me. I'm sorry. I don't want you to play with that. The others had gone to see a movie, and he had thought he would beat them back to the motel. But he had stayed at the home place longer than he would have guessed. The old hateful memories seemed to move in their old eternal time zone. Eternal time zone. Terry was sitting near Dennis watching the Beverly Hillbillies. She watched the old rainy print with a steady, bemused concentration that spoke of a recent Valium pop. Dennis was reading a rock magazine with Culture Club on the cover. Petey had been sitting cross-legged on the carpet goofing with the monkey. It doesn't work anyway, Petey said, which explains why Dennis let him have it, Hal thought. And then felt ashamed and angry at himself. He felt this uncontrollable hostility toward Dennis more and more often. But in the aftermath, he felt demeaned and tacky, helpless. No, it's old. I'm going to throw it away. Give it to me. He held out his hands to Peter, looking troubled, handed it over. Dennis looked at his mother. Pop's turning into a freaking schizophrenic. Hal was across the room even before he knew he was the monkey in one hand, as if in approbation. He hauled Dennis out of his shirt. There was a purring sound as the scene came adrift somewhere. Dennis looked almost comically shocked. His copy of Rockwave fell to the floor. Hey! You come with me, Hal said grimly, pulling his son toward the door to the connecting room. How? Terry nearly screamed. Petey just goggled. Hal pulled Dennis through. He slammed the door and then slammed Dennis against the door. Dennis was staring, starting to look scared. You're getting a mouth problem, Hal said. Let go of me. You tore my shirt, you... Hal slammed the boy against the door again. Yes, he said. A real mouth problem. Did you learn that in school? Or back in the smoking area? Dennis flushed, his face momentarily ugly with guilt. I wouldn't be in that shitty school if you didn't get canned, he burst out. Hal slammed Dennis against the door again. I didn't get canned. I got laid off. You know it. And I don't need any of your shit about it. You have problems? Welcome to the world, Dennis. Just don't lay all of them on me. You're eating, your ass is covered, you're 12 years old, and at 12 I don't need any shit from you. He punctuated each phrase by pulling the boy forward until their noses were almost touching Dennis into the door. It was not hard enough to hurt, but Dennis was scared. His father had not laid a hand on him since they moved to Texas, and now he began to cry with the young boy's loud, braying, healthy sobs. Go ahead, beat me up, he yelled at Hal. His face twisted and blotchy. Beat me up if you want. I know how much you fucking hate me. I don't hate you. I love you a lot, Dennis. But I'm your dad, and you're going to show me respect, or I'm going to bust you for it. Dennis tried to pull away. Hal pulled the boy to him and hugged him. Dennis fought for a moment and then put his face against Hal's chest and wept as if exhausted. It was a sort of cry Hal hadn't heard from either of his children in years. He closed his eyes, realizing that he felt exhausted himself. Terry began to hammer on the other side of the door. Stop it, Hal! Whatever you're doing to him, stop it!
I'm not killing him, Hal said. Go away, Terry. Don't you? It's all right, Mom, Dennis said, muffled against Hal's chest. He could feel her perplexed silence for a moment, and then she went. Hal looked at his son again. I'm sorry I badmouthed you, Dad, Dennis said reluctantly. Okay, accept that with thanks. When we get home next week, I'm going to wait 2 or 3 days, and then I'm going to go through all of your chores. If there's something in them you don't want me to see, better. That flash of guilt again. Dennis lowered his eyes and wiped away snot at the back of his hand. Can I go now? He sounded sullen once more. Sure, Hal said. Let him go. Go to taking camping in the spring. Just the two of us. Gotta take camping in the spring. Just the two of us. Do some fishing, like Uncle Will used to do with Bill and me. Gotta get close to him. Gotta try. He sat down on the bed in the empty room and looked at the monkey. You'll never be close to him again, Hal. It's a grain scene to say. Count on it. I am back to take care of business, just like you always knew I would be someday. Hal laid the monkey aside and put a hand over his eyes. That night, Hal stood in the bathroom brushing his teeth and thought, it was in the same box. How could it be in the same box? The toothbrush jabbed upward, hurting his gums. He winced. He had been 4, Bill 6, the first time he saw the monkey. Their missing father had bought a house in Hartford, and it had been theirs, free and clear, before he died, or fell into a hole in the middle of the world, or whatever it had been. Their mother worked as a secretary at Holmes Aircraft. The helicopter out in Westville, a series of sitters came in to stay with the boys, except by then it was just Hal the sitters had to mind for the day. Bill was in first grade, big school. None of the babysitters stayed for long. They got pregnant and married their boyfriends, or got work at Holmes, or Mrs. Shelburne would discover that they had been at the cooking sherry, or her bottle of brandy, which was kept in the sideboard for special occasions. Most were stupid girls who seemed only to want to eat and sleep. None of them wanted to read to Hal, as his mother would. The sitter, that long winter, was a huge, sleek black girl named Bella, or Bula, Beulah. Buela. We're gonna say Buela. She fawned over Hal when Hal's mother was around, and sometimes pinched him when she wasn't. Still, Hal had some liking for Buela, who once in a while would read him a lurid tale from one of her confession or true detective magazines. Death come for the voluptuous redhead, Buela would intone ominously in a dozy daytime silence, and pop another Reese's peanut in her mouth while solemnly studied the grainy tabloid picture and drink milk from his wish cup. The liking made what happened worse. He found the monkey on a cold, cloudy day in March. Sleet ticked sporadically off the windows, and Buela was asleep on the couch. A copy of my story, tented open on her admirable bosom. Hal had crept into the back closet to look at his father's things. The back closet was a storage space that ran the length of the floor on the left side. Extra space that had never been finished off. You got into it by using a small door, down the rabbit hole sort of door on Bill's side of the boys' bedroom. They both liked to go in there, even though it was chilly in winter and hot enough in summer to wring a bucket full of sweat out of your pores. Long and narrow and somehow snug. The back closet was full of fascinating junk. No matter how much stuff you looked at, you never seemed to be able to look at it all. He and Bill had spent whole Saturday afternoons up here, barely speaking to each other,
taking things out of boxes and turning them over and over so that their hands absorb each reality, putting them back. Now how wondered if he hadn't been trying as best they could to somehow make contact with their vanished father. He had been a merchant mariner with a navigator's certificate, and there were stacks of charts in the closet. Some marks of neat circles, and the dimple of the compass's swing point in the center of each. There were 20 volumes of something called Baron's A Guide to Navigation, a set of cockeyed binoculars that made your eyes feel hot and funny if you looked through them too long. There were touristy things from a dozen ports of call, rubber hula dolls, a black cardboard bowler with a torn band that said, "You pick the girl and I'll pick a dilly." A glass globe with a tiny Eiffel Tower inside. There were envelopes with foreign stamps tucked carefully away inside, foreign coins. There were rock samples from the Hawaiian island of Maui. A glassy glass heavy and somehow ominous and funny records in foreign languages. My audio is echoing. Alright, let me situate this. Not quite sure why it's echoing. I turned it off. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me figure it out. Now I know here this will make it echo. I'm not quite sure why. Why did that stop? It's going to echo so much for stupid. I'm not sure why it's echoing. No, not at all. So you'll have to let me know if it's still echoing, so I can probably end up redoing my stream. Because for me it always echoes. It's always going to echo unless I take my stream and mute it. So I don't hear it. I have no idea what it sounds like. So let me know if it's still echoing. I wonder what's causing it. Well, we're gonna work on that. Pause reading so we can fix this. Oh, I wonder.